Hello everyone. Hello Facebook community. Hello there. My name is Bettina Adel and I'm greeting you from Room country, specifically in my toddler's room. Hello there everyone. If you're watching live now, come here, join me. This is quite a topic, a pretty common topic for people who work with or who live with young children, especially in the toddler years. Today we're talking about the mess. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to our son's room, and I am here. It took me a while. I've always had this idea of showing you what the mess is like at our home. To be honest, my big confession is that I actually don't have that perfect home, mess-free home 100% of the time. And lately, the past years, the more I've been exploring early childhood education, the more I've been really delving into play and understanding play. I'm realizing that we can actually see beyond the mess. And if I were to walk in here with my mummy hat right now and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is a big mess because everything is just on the floor and there's stuff all over on the floor, and there's just things everywhere. This is my toddler's room, and my toddler spends a lot of time in this room, most of the day. A lot of the day in this room. When we're at home, my toddler's mostly here talking to himself and creating and building and imagining. But then when someone like a mom with her mommy hat or a dad with his daddy hat comes in, the first thing they'd see before they trip on anything would be the mess. It can get really messy. So I just wanted to unpack this process with you because I've this is something I've also processed on my own. As an adult we are trained, or we have this notion that clean is really good, cleaner is better, clutter free is the best. And for me as well as an adult, I also like being organized and being clutter free because it helps me see things and find things, and I love systems. But we have to also make space and give space and room and time for our little children. It's not just about us as adults thinking that just because it's our notion that it's the right and the best thing, we also have to give space, time, and opportunities for the young citizens of this world, which are the children in their early years. At this very moment, at this very time, children below ages 8, or they even say 5, are building up neurons in their brains so rapidly. This is the fastest time in their lives that they are going to develop. And with that, they're processing everything. And how do they learn? They learn through holding things, through things that are tangible, things that they can touch. They don't learn through books, they don't learn through worksheets. They learn through doing things and experiencing things. And so that is the way they learn. And if we break it up even further, instead of just saying, oh wow, this is a building that our toddler has built, instead of just saying, wow, that's a building, let's break it up, let's fix it up. Instead, we could actually just take some time, take a deep breath before you look at the mess and define this as clutter and define it as mess, and try to unpack the process here. With our adult grown up hats, we can see and connect things, and we can actually unpack the process. For example, this this is a current interest of my toddler, which is to build upon things. And when you keep on giving that person the opportunity to build upon things, you start to realize that there's actually a sort of science or an explanation behind it. A lot of play advocates, play workers, they like to use the word schemas. Schema is a process, the way the brain processes learning. And this was coined by John Piaget in the 1920s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And through with understanding schemas and the way our brains process information, we have started, play workers have started to realize that there's also a science behind play, and play can be observed in their patterns, repetitive patterns, and these repetitive patterns are the processes of the way brains are acknowledging or seeing information and acquiring information, and these are what we call play schemas. So, for example, instead of just saying, "Wow, he's built a structure," you can actually see that this is related to the connecting schema, where children will be observed joining things together, trying things up using rope, tape, string, ribbon, or blocks. And then you can also see that the way every single piece was put together also relates to this repetitive pattern that I've been seeing in the way my toddler has been playing, which is a positioning schema. Taking time to put one thing next to each other, positioning it straight to each other. And here's just a great way to see the learning, the process behind this young person's mind and what they're going through. Then you see all these, for example, I have all these stuffed bags that are stuffed, things that are stuffed. So just anything, things that are stuffed, baskets that are stuffed with random things, and you might think, oh yeah, that's just all clutter, that's all mess. But then if you really try to unpack it, understand it, then you actually understand that it could actually, I've seen this repeatedly done by my toddler over and over again, to stuff bags, stuff anything. For example, there's this this engine that he loves here, and it's stuffed with the most random things ever. So you just try to see how, look at how random this is, like a bag within an engine, and a potato head, and a book, and all these instructions, stickers, random things, all stuffed in a bag. And you kind of, for me, instead of using that mind frame of, oh my gosh, this is such a mess, I start to kind of appreciate what's really happening here. And what I see is the schema repetitively happening, called the enveloping schema, when they like to stuff things inside, and they do things with bags, or they make little barriers such as this, a barrier out of Lego, or they stuff machines, and you see this pattern repeating but in different ways. And it's just really amazing as an observer to see that sense of wonder, that sense of joy, that sense of curiosity and exploration being played out in all of this play. And there's also like that explanation we can see as parents. Instead of seeing this as mess, we can actually unpack each thing and try to understand, oh, what's happening here? And all of this, is this actually mess? Or is it evidence of learning, evidence of play, evidence of a child doing what they're meant to be doing, which is to explore, to be curious, to find joy, to just play and to be them. So there's so many play schemas that I can observe here. The last one I want to share with you is this other fascination of my child, which is the orientation schema. And my child's been very fascinated with bugs and loves bugs. And I can see the orientation schema being played out. This is when children will be observed looking at things from different viewpoints, which are hanging upside down, which are magnified, which are from far away, from near. And I can really see this. So for example, my child is also very nature oriented, loves bugs, and is starting to collect dead bugs. I know this may seem gross for many of us as a mom. Sometimes you get a little bit concerned. I get concerned, but then some I see that there is more benefits than there is harm, I take some time to really understand it, then I can really, really appreciate and support it because the orientation schema, my child likes to look at things from the magnifier and look at the bugs. And this is a great way for them to explore themselves, the different parts of bugs, the different types of bugs. There's so many extensions and room for that child to explore more and to learn more at their own pace, at the way they want to. And just lots of magnifying stuff and a little bug catcher with a viewfinder, and these things are all over the house. And yes, sometimes it is messy as a mom, as a homemaker. I feel sometimes that it can be very overwhelming, but then if we just take a deep breath and try to understand the process with what is happening and with the play, I think there's so much we can appreciate if we just change our mindset and try to understand the play schemas. Because once you see these play schemas in your child's play, you start to appreciate them more, and you can find ways you can further support and further provide open-ended learning play opportunities. So these play schemas, if you would want a copy, I have them for free, and I can give them to you. Just private message me or message me if you'd want a copy. Happy to send them over to you. I'm currently in the process of trying to reconfigure our website and our mailing lists and everything, because I've tried to I've tried to move to another platform. So we'll see how this goes. If it doesn't, then I'll go back. But right now, if you would want a copy, please feel free to private message me. If you've got any questions, comments, I always welcome everything. So hello again. This is it for my live video. Just wanting to share my take on how we can understand and unpack the mess and see beyond the mess of our children and see it as the process for what it is. And take some time before we clean it and tidy it up right away. Take some time to actually try to see what's happening. And then maybe that could help us mentally as well understand what is happening and how we can further provide open space, open play opportunities for them to further use their schemas, because there's nothing more than wanting to support our children, right? So that's all for today. I hope you all enjoy playing. And if you ever catch yourself in a messy room, just think about me. And remember, you're not alone, because this is part of the process. Take care now. It's me, Bettina Atwill. If you are watching live or watching the replay, comment, say hi. I always love your feedback. I love having you, love your reactions, and everything else in between. Take care now. Bye bye, Facebook community. See you later.